Nikon taught me off-road, which is why I'm in my comfies. Tonight they released 2 firmware updates, one for the Nikon Z9, sort of a supplementary update because we just got 5.3, so this is now 5.31. The big one, perhaps it might be argued, is for the ZR. This is 1.1 for the ZR. Now, the ZR, if my memory serves, was released in October, so November, December, January, and February, 4 months later, we have 1.1. So let's take a look at what we got with these updates. Okay, let's take a look at firmware 5.31 for the Z9. This won't take long. It's just really a little bug fix. On the associated page here, this is where we can download it and install manually, if you like. That's what I tend to do. Otherwise, you can update via the Nikon imaging cloud. I know a lot of people like to do that now. So, as I said, just a bug fix here. Simply fixes an issue where the focus point would sometimes leave the subject immediately after tracking started when AF area mode was set to 3D tracking in photo mode or to subject tracking AF in video mode. So that's it. Okay, on to the ZR firmware 1.1. Due to the addition of new menu items, some custom settings menu items have been renumbered. That's usual. In video recording, it extended the maximum length of footage that can be recorded in a single video session. So extended recording, so up to 6 hours in H.264, H.265, and ProRes H2 up to 59.94 frames per second. That is amazing. Now, I don't know that I would ever need 6 hours, but you never know. And for those people who do record long events, that's awesome. Brightness information, including histogram and waveform monitor, now displays a warning indicator on the brighter side that shows potential loss of detail in highlights when R3D, any 12-bit R3D, is selected for video file type. Now, that's very much welcome. I wonder if that's available. It doesn't say that, so it's probably not available in the other codecs, which is unfortunate, but it will help to judge exposure, which is more difficult with the R3D. You can now set video file type to R3D, NE 12-bit R3D, in auto mode. Note that the shooting mode M will automatically be selected. Now, obviously, you couldn't do that before, now you can. Awesome. Added video file naming item. File names consist of a real number, clip number, recording date, among other information. So, yeah, you can now control what those files are named. Comes in very handy, especially if you're using a number of cameras. Added LTC signal input to timecode, so now the timecode can be synchronized with a timecode generator connected to the external microphone line input connector. Now, the ZR only has one of those ports, but remember, the ZR does have the digital hot shoe, so that's an input for audio as well, and, of course, it supports 32-bit float. Controls increase the maximum number of files displayed to import from G15 LUT View Assist settings, import tube file in the custom settings menu to 50 tube files. The names starting with a period are no longer displayed. So that's from 10 LUTs that you can store to 50. So yeah, that should keep the LUT fans happy, of which I'm one. Displays added a power on lamp energy saver item to the setup menu. The the power on lamp remains lit while the hammer is turned on when off is selected. Now when I first read that, I found it rather confusing, but I understand what that means, that that power light used to go off after a certain interval. Now, by taking advantage of that setting, you can tell if the hammer is still on, say for instance, from a distance, or when you put it in your bag. And Network updated some guidance text displayed on the hammer when connecting to the Nikon Imaging Cloud service. The connection procedure itself remains unchanged. And finally, other changes fixed an issue where noise sometimes occurred in the audio during live USB streaming. And that's it, folks. So, there we have it. Now, I'm not an owner of the ZR, so maybe I can't comment, but I have considered and am still considering at some point getting the ZR. So here's my thoughts. It's a very nice update. As I've said, some of those I would really appreciate, particularly the waveform. But yeah, they're all good updates. I'm sure some people will still complain. Now, if I was to say anything, I was kind of hoping to see a more compressed R3D codec. Because, well, the main thing is storage. Now, I have a fair amount of storage, but it wouldn't be enough if I used R3D regularly. So yeah, I would have liked to see, and we still may see, a more compressed R3D codec. I think we will see that. The other thing that I would like to have seen, beyond the waveform, that's helpful, but I would have liked to have seen more sophisticated exposure tools. I've said that before in my original review. So yeah, still waiting for that, and I hope that Nikon can provide those. Maybe not the whole red tools like stoplights, but something a little bit more sophisticated. False color would be really appreciated as far as I'm concerned. Now, in terms of codecs, I have to say that most often I use H.265 10-bit, and there's been a lot more conversation about the Z3's H.265 Log profile, that it is soft and doesn't match, say for instance, the Nikon Z6 III, which I own. So that's of some concern to me. However, most of the time, probably 75% of the time, I use H.265 SDR with the flat profile. And the flat profile, I've been using that all the way back to the original Z6. And it's a fabulous way to go. Yeah, you got plenty of wiggle room there. It's beautiful. But I would like to see, I'm waiting to see what happens with that H.265 Log with the ZR. If that was improved, that would definitely swing things for me. But that's about all I have to say on this subject. Very much looking forward to see what happens with the ZR. But really, this, again, I think this really proves that Nikon wants to maintain its reputation, that I think I gave it, of the Kaizen King. Because, yeah, these firmware updates, they continue to roll out, they continue to improve the cameras. Like the Z9, how old is it now? Over 4 years? And they just, I'm wondering, will we see a firmware 6 for the Z9? Anyway, much more to look forward to, I'm sure, in 2026. I'm really wondering about those promised cinema lenses. I'm really interested to see which way they'll go. Will they make them affordable? Say that's around let's say $1,000 a lens, or will it be somewhere, closer to something like the 35mm 1.2, 85mm 1.2. That would make it more difficult for me to grab cinema lenses, and I'll be interested to see if those are autofocus as well as manual. I'm betting that they'll be autofocus, but we'll see. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. If you did find it interesting, please give it a thumbs up, and if this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss more content from me. Much more coming. In the meantime, take care, cheers. We'll see you later.